All right, I need to tell you guys something that happened to me recently. Because if you've ever had friends warn you about someone you're dating and you ignore them, this might hit close to home. My name's Kayce. I'm 22. I work construction, mostly framing houses. Long days, early mornings, the usual stuff. Not glamorous, but I like it. And about 8 months ago, I started dating Ashley. Ashley's 23, blonde, loud personality, even though she can be shy with new people. She can take a while to warm up to you, but when she does, the floodgates open. And that's actually how we met, at a bowling league. Yeah, I know that sounds random, but my buddy Peter got a bunch of us into this weekly bowling league at this old alley downtown. Nothing serious, just cheap beer, bad bowling, and talking trash. Our group was me, Peter, Sydney, and Alan. Peter's 25, kind of the unofficial leader of the group. Sydney's also 25, sarcastic as hell, but cool. Alan's 23 and the quiet one. One night, this new team shows up to the league, and Ashley's on it, and immediately she's loud, joking, teasing her team for gutter balls, the whole thing. After the game, she comes over and says, "Okay, which one of you is Kayce?" And I'm like, me? She points at my shirt and goes, "You're the construction guy, right? I heard my teammates say you work construction." I laugh and go, "Yeah, that's me." And she smiles and says, "Good. I need someone to fix my closet door." Everyone laughs. That was basically the start of it. Over the next few weeks, we started talking more and more at bowling, then texting, then hanging out outside the league. Pretty soon, we were officially dating. And honestly, at first it was great. Ashley was fun, energetic, always wanting to do something. Meanwhile, I'm the type of guy who's happy sitting on the couch watching YouTube after work, so she kind of pulled me out of my comfort zone. But about 2 months into the relationship, something weird started happening. My friends started acting off. Not mean, just off. One night after bowling, we're all sitting around the table finishing our beers. Ashley had left early because she said she had work in the morning. And Peter looks at me and goes, "Hey man, can I ask you something?" I'm like, "Yeah?" He says, "How serious are you about Ashley?" Immediately, I'm like, what kind of question is that? So I laugh and go, "I don't know, man. Pretty serious, I guess." Peter kind of glances at Sydney and Alan. Then Sydney says, "Kayce, we just want you to be careful." And that's when I start getting annoyed. What's that supposed to mean? Peter sighs and says, "Nothing specific. We just don't fully trust her." Now at this point, I'm already defensive. Because if you're dating someone and your friends randomly say they don't trust them, it immediately feels like an attack. So I go, "Why? What did she do?" Alan shrugs and says, "It's just a vibe." A vibe? That was their explanation? So I roll my eyes and go, "You guys are overthinking it." Peter tries again. "I'm serious, man. Just keep your eyes open." But I shut the conversation down right there. "Guys, she's great. You're reading too much into things." They drop it after that. But the weird comments kept happening. Not directly attacking her, but little things, like Sydney saying stuff like, "I just hope she treats you right." Or Peter saying, "If anything ever feels weird, tell us." And every time I defended Ashley. Every single time. Because in my mind, my friends just didn't know her like I did. Then one night, about 2 months later, everything blew up. It was a Friday. Ashley told me she was going out with coworkers after work, which was normal, so I spent the night at home gaming with Alan. Around midnight, Alan suddenly goes quiet, and I'm like, "What?" He hesitates, then says, "Nothing." Now, if you know Alan, the guy is quiet normally, but this was different, so I press him. "Dude, what?" He sighs. Then he says something that makes my stomach drop. "Kayce, where did Ashley say she was tonight?" I say, "Out with coworkers. Why?" And he goes quiet again. Then finally says, "I think I just saw where she went." Now, my brain immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion. What, like at a bar or something? And Alan goes, no. Pause. She was at the bowling alley. I laugh. What do you mean? And he says, at the bowling alley, for midnight bowling. Now my heart starts pounding because our bowling league wasn't even happening that night, and I forgot they occasionally do midnight league. So I say, that doesn't make sense, and Alan just looks at me. Kayce, she was there with a guy. The room goes silent. I'm still trying to rationalize it. Maybe it's a friend. Alan doesn't respond. Then he quietly says, they were holding hands. I swear my stomach dropped through the floor, so I grab my keys and drive straight to the bowling alley, and sure enough, through the big glass windows, I see them. Ashley and some guy I've never seen before sitting close together at a lane, laughing, and yeah, holding hands. In that moment, everything my friends had been saying suddenly came flooding back into my head. All the warnings, all the weird vibes, all the just be careful comments. I walk inside. Ashley sees me immediately, and the look on her face instantly changes. She stands up and goes, Kayce, what are you doing here? And I say, I think the better question is, what are you doing here? The guy she's with just slowly stands up and backs away. Ashley starts stumbling over her words. It's not what you think. And I just laugh. Really? Because it looks pretty obvious. She tries to grab my arm. Kayce, please listen. I pull away. How long? She freezes. That's when I knew. Because if the answer was never or nothing happened, she wouldn't have hesitated. Finally, she says, only a couple weeks. A couple weeks. And that's when it hits me. My friends knew. I leave without saying anything else, just walk out. I drive straight to Peter's apartment. When he opens the door and sees my face, he immediately knows. He just sighs and says, you saw it, didn't you? I look at him. You knew. Peter nods slowly. Sydney and Alan were inside too. Sydney says quietly, we didn't want to hurt you. And that's when I learned the truth. About 3 weeks earlier, Sydney had seen Ashley flirting with that same guy at a bar. Peter saw them together another night, and Alan had spotted them once before at the bowling alley. They didn't have proof she was cheating, but they had a pretty strong suspicion, and they didn't want to accuse her without knowing for sure. So instead, they kept trying to warn me, subtly. But every time, I defended Ashley, hard. Peter finally says, man, we tried. And honestly, he was right. They did try. I was just too stubborn to listen. I ended things with Ashley that night. Blocked her. Haven't spoken to her since. And the craziest part? My friends never once said, I told you so. Not once. Instead, Peter just handed me a beer and said, next week, you're bowling a 300 for revenge. I laughed for the first time in forever that night. And that's when it hit me. Real friends don't always tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes they tell you what you need to hear, even if you ignore them. So yeah, if your friends, especially the ones who've known you for years, say something feels off about someone you're dating, maybe don't immediately assume they're wrong, because sometimes they know something you don't.